You ever pull up to the gas pump, stare at those numbers, 87, 89, 91, and have that little debate in your head? Like, what am I really paying for here? Am I just throwing money away on the expensive stuff? It's a choice we make every week, but really understanding it can save you some serious cash and, believe it or not, even protect your engine. So let's finally get to the bottom of this. Let's decode what those numbers actually mean.
And this is the million-dollar question, isn't it? Should you just go for the cheapest option, or does splurging on premium fuel really give your car some kind of secret superpower? Well, the answer? It's probably not what you think. And it all boils down to one single idea: the octane rating. So here's our game plan. We're going to start with that choice you make right at the pump. Then we'll get into the real villain of our story, a little problem called engine knocking. After that, we'll figure out what an octane rating actually is, how to pick the right fuel for your ride, and then, my favorite part, we'll bust some of the biggest octane myths out there.
All right, let's dive into our first section. Those numbers on the pump, they aren't just there to show you different prices. They're a really critical piece of information about the health and performance of your engine. Okay, so here's the first thing you absolutely need to know. The octane number has nothing to do with how much power or energy is in the gasoline. Zero. Instead, it's all about stability. It's a measure of how well that fuel can resist exploding too early when it gets squeezed inside your engine. A higher number just means more stability. That's it. So why on earth do we care about fuel stability? Well, it's all about preventing this nasty little problem called engine knocking. You might have heard it before. It's that weird, faint pinging or rattling sound you sometimes hear when you're accelerating up a hill. That sound, that's a cry for help from inside your engine. See, in a happy, healthy engine, everything is a perfectly timed four-step dance. A mix of air and fuel gets sucked in, a piston squeezes it, then at the perfect millisecond, the spark plug fires, creating a controlled explosion that pushes the piston down. That's what gives your car power. It's smooth, it's controlled, it's beautiful. And this slide just lays it out perfectly. On the left, you've got that smooth, controlled push from normal combustion. But on the right, that's engine knock. That's what happens when the heat and pressure get so intense that the fuel just gives up and explodes all by itself before the spark plug even gets a chance to do its job. It's not one smooth push. It's a series of chaotic, uncontrolled explosions that slam into each other and create damaging shock waves. That pinging sound is literally the noise of those shock waves hammering the inside of your engine. It's not just inefficient, it means you're losing power. But worse, over time, those violent little explosions can cause serious, and I mean expensive, damage to the heart of your engine. This is exactly the problem that octane ratings were invented to solve. So, how do we fight back against this knocking problem? Well, say hello to the hero of our story, the octane rating itself. This number is a direct measure of how much of a beating that fuel can take before it gives up and explodes prematurely. So here's the official definition. At its core, an octane rating is just a score. It's a grade that tells you how good a fuel is at resisting that premature ignition. The higher the number, the more pressure and heat it can handle, which means it's more stable. So how do scientists even come up with this number? Well, it's actually pretty cool. They created a scale from 0 to 100 using two specific chemicals. On one end, you have a chemical called heptane. It's super unstable and knocks like crazy, so it gets a big fat 0. On the other end, you have isooctane, which is incredibly stable and almost impossible to make knock. It gets a perfect score of 100. Now, to rate a gasoline, they run it through a special test engine and see how it behaves. There are actually two main tests. The first one is called RON, which is like a simulation of gentle stop-and-go city driving. The second is MON, which is much harsher. Think high-speed, flooring it on the highway. By the way, this is why the numbers in Europe look higher. They usually just show you the RON score, which is always a little more generous. It's not better fuel, just a different ruler. Here in North America, we do it a little differently. The number you see on the pump is actually just an average of those two scores. You take the RON, add the MON, and divide by 2. It's called the anti-knock index, or AKI, and it gives a much more realistic picture of how the fuel will perform in all kinds of driving conditions. Okay, so that's the science. Awesome. But what does any of this mean for your car, the one sitting in your driveway right now? Well, this is where it all comes together. See, engineers who design high-performance engines try to squeeze as much power as possible out of every drop of fuel. One way they do that is by using a high compression ratio, which basically means they design the engine to squeeze that air-fuel mixture really, really tight before it ignites. The problem is, the more you squeeze, the more heat and pressure you create, and all that pressure is just begging for the fuel to knock. That's why these engines need the extra stability of higher octane fuel to run properly. So who needs this stuff? We're typically talking about high-performance engines you'd find in sports cars, some luxury vehicles, and pretty much any car that has a turbocharger. Those engines are specifically built to use that extra stability to safely make more power. If you put regular gas in them, you're gonna get knock, and the car's computer will have to cut back the power to protect itself. But here's the most important part for most of us. The vast, vast majority of cars on the road today are designed to run perfectly on regular old 87 octane. Their engines just don't create enough pressure to ever need anything more stable. If you're not sure, there's one foolproof way to find out. Check your owner's manual. The engineers who built your car will tell you exactly what it needs.
And that brings us to the fun part. Let's bust some of the most common and most expensive myths about octane. This is where we save you some money.
Okay, here's the big one. Everybody thinks that if they put premium fuel in their regular car, it's going to suddenly turn into a rocket ship. Is there any truth to that? Absolutely false. 100% myth. Remember what we said? Octane is about stability, not energy content. Putting 91 octane in a car designed for 87 is like buying a fireproof wallet when you never play with matches. You're paying for a benefit your car literally cannot use. All right, what about fuel economy? A lot of people swear that paying more for gas means they go further on a tank. Yeah, no. Also, pretty much a myth. For a regular engine, any potential gain in mileage would be so tiny, I'm talking fractions of a percent, that you would never, ever notice it in the real world. And it definitely wouldn't be enough to make up for the higher price you paid for the fuel in the first place.
Okay, last one. Is premium gas somehow pure?
Is it better quality gas that's going to clean your engine? Nope, also false. In the US, every single grade of gasoline, from regular all the way up to premium, has to meet the exact same government standards for things like detergents and cleanliness. The only thing the octane reading tells you is how resistant it is to knocking. You're not getting a better fuel, you're just getting a more stable one. So, let's wrap this all up. What do you really need to remember? Number 1, octane is stability, not power. Number 2, its whole job is to stop engine knock. Number 3, just use whatever fuel your car's manual tells you to use. And finally, number 4, putting a higher octane in your car than it needs is pretty much just setting your money on fire. And that leaves us with one final thing to think about. As car engines get smaller and more powerful, with all these new turbos and complex tech, the need to use exactly the right fuel is becoming even more important. So, will that make our choices at the pump simpler in the future? Or is it all just going to get even more confusing? Definitely something to chew on next time you're filling up.